This week on the Push Words podcast, we have some protein and bakehouse protein bars to try. We also talk about the neurological and physiological effects of long COVID and coming back to fitness, and overcoaching. Jesus, it's a thing.
Is in 3, 2, 1. Let's go down. Chest up. Dishwasher tablets. Spinach. Go.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push 4 Legs podcast with myself, Darmeek.
Me, Tom Hall. What's going on, bro?
I'm good. I'm just perplexed as to why it's snowing so heavily yet sunny at the same time. As we do this right now, outside, it's sunny and snowing. Weird. Like, I can't get my head around
bro.
it. Like,
England.
What are we doing to the country? What are we doing to the world? Like climate. Do you know what I mean? We're fucking this. I keep saying country. We're fucking this world up.
It's
really
aren't
we?
We opened with it was hotter than Africa last week. And yeah, it was good on the weekend, and then it's bitterly cold and apparently snowed. Didn't snow that much in London. We had a flurry, I believe it's the technical term, but that's about it.
This is coming down.
I saw your story earlier, and it was coming down.
It's worse than that now. It's worse than that now. Yeah.
Everybody's show us on this audio show. What is going on in your world?
A lot, mate. You know, just cracking on. Got about 20 odd gym programs to write in the next 5 days for when the gym's open. But other than that, I'm all good.
Never about that.
It's not about that. I got at the back. I just do it in chunks. I have to do I've got 5 to do tonight, and then I'll do 5 tomorrow night, 5 the night after. You know, I can't do all that in one day. That's just gonna be too much.
I would lose my face if I had to write that many in one hit.
I'm excited for gyms to open. I'm excited for everyone to get back in. It's been nice. I tell you what, it has been nice writing programs for a gym rather than for home. That's been a nice luxury. Although the novelty did wear off after the first 15, then it wore off.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, I'm getting there. We're getting there. Very excited to get back to the gym and back with proper equipment and all that sort of jazz. I think.
So
obviously everyone is right, but
so this is officially, fingers crossed, Boris don't fuck us, the last Bunkercast. We'll just call it the Bunkercast that we will do, maybe ever, because gyms will be open.
Don't say that.
I know. What we got?
Don't say that. I'm still convinced. 41. I'm still convinced we need to get used to this.
Bunkercast 42.
Mental. I'm still convinced we need to get used to this, because what I predict is that terrorist groups are going to see how badly everyone handled this and just go, let's just develop ourselves a virus that can kill people. That's what I reckon is going to happen. I mean, a bit doom and gloom, innit? But, you know.
Yeah, I mean, starting off lovely. Well, I had a lovely Easter weekend. Did lots of walking. We decided to get the last bits of kind of lockdown walking around London where there's no people. Because I'm assuming it's kind of like the first lockdown. It's a weird thing to say, and I almost put a story up on it being like, oh, I'm going to miss lockdown. Like, everybody's like, what? Are you serious? It's like, in a weird way, like the first lockdown, there was nobody on the streets at all. This one's, there's obviously more and more, but it was like the last time to go to Trafalgar Square and Parliament Square and these places where there's fuck all tourists. When, like, I put stories of, we're in Covent Garden up, right? That was Covent Garden on a Saturday night.
That guy on the thing.
Yeah, the thing.
Oh my God.
Insane. I can't remember what his name was.
I can't help but feel for that amount of talent, that, like, why are you still doing that? Like, surely you should be somewhere else doing this.
And I'm like, he's doing that. Like, we sat there for a good 25 minutes. Like, watched his show. Like, had a coffee or like a hot chocolate or something. I gave him a tenner. I was just like, I've got to give him something, right? I was like, I've just taken it all in. Like, fuck you cunts that are just like, oh, I'm not going to give him anything. It's like, I was like, this is basically theatre right now. Like, there's nothing that, like, he was doing a little bit of stand-up comedy. He was a funny guy, and he was on, so people didn't see the story. He was on like a crappy table, like on some cobbles, on lots, and he put he put those bricks in whilst he was on top of that board on top of a wheel, and he built the stand himself whilst on top of it, and then he threw knives around and some fire because he was like, knives, fire, what could go wrong? He was quite funny, and he was like, this is the best show I've had all year, and there was like 15 of us there in the whole of Covent Garden. It was insane. So it was just like, appreciate it, guys, like really, because it's a bit of a struggle for me. I was like, no shit, but like a street performer where there's nobody on the streets, it's quite a tough gig.
That is tough.
But we did that. It was quite nice just to walk around London when nobody's there. And then of course it was Easter. What eggs did you get, Dan? Did you get any fun eggs?
I got a lint bunny. Really annoyingly, I was supposed to get for myself. I got myself an M&S egg, and it was supposed to have like a crunchy or crispy egg, like in the egg, not like crispy things on the side of an egg. It was supposed to be in the egg. Didn't have any in stock, so they sent me a Kit Kat chunky one for real substitution, which is a bit annoying.
That was a substitution. Wow.
Yeah, so but I haven't eaten that yet, and I just had loads of mini eggs and lint bunnies. They're my thing. You see, Easter eggs are good. I've obviously eaten some of Isabel's because she had about 6. So I was like, well, I'm not going to buy myself one. So I've had some dairy milk Easter eggs, which were nice.
Yeah.
Mini eggs are always obviously good. You got a great one, I heard you got a great one, a Stormtrooper one. I heard.
Stormtrooper?
I was browsing Ocado and I saw the Stormtrooper from M&S, Stormtrooper Easter egg. Sent it to Tom's girlfriend. I was like, yeah, get him this, he'll love it. And she was like, oh my God, he will love it. And then apparently he was very underwhelmed with it and just didn't even say anything. Right?
Well, it
more
was
excited about Thomas the Tank Engine one.
I got Thomas the Tank Engine one. I got a one from the Connaught. I got this one, some tempered chocolate. We got some Thorntons. We got some.
Have you seen the Thorntons have closed all their shops?
Yeah, they've not done well. I mean, that brand was dying for a long time. They went down from over the last 10 years from about 260 stores to about 60 stores. So interesting.
They're not just staying online or anything. They are closing, aren't they?
They are closing, I believe. Yeah. I think they've just got beaten out by Hotel Chocolat. To be fair, I think those are the guys, because Hotel Chocolat end up being in hotels and stuff as well, and restaurants, and they've killed it through that.
It's nicer, though, to be fair. It is nicer.
Yeah.
Step your game up, Thorns. Do you know what I mean? Step your game up.
Jesus. So I had a lovely Easter. My mum gave me a biscuit for some weird reason as well. Is a cookie.
Biscuit?
She gave me 2 Easter eggs and a biscuit. I was like, thanks. I guess it's a tractor.
If you like.
Very quite strange. Mate. So lovely, and we're back to work. Awful times. I actually took the Friday off and half of the Monday, so it was quite nice. It was good. And on the 8-week supportive, that was my last week with you guys. Sorry, there was some tears. There was
joy.
They're going to be almost PTs by the end of the week, where they have their exams this weekend.
Oh God! Don't fuck up your exams.
Don't fuck up your exams. All right. Protein review.
Protein bar review.
There we go. We had it. I still haven't bothered learning anything on my ukulele. I will. Promise.
You're useless.
I'm useless. I think I'm going to do some exercise advice whilst playing the ukulele, because I think that'd be funny. And it'll be no, just the ukulele happening, and people will be like, "Oh, he's in a sing." I'm just going to tell you to squat properly and stuff like that. Quite all right. All right. So we're going to go through the Protein Bakehouse. They finally arrived.
We got one of every single one, didn't we?
We did get one of every single one that was in stock, I believe. I believe they do desserts, and we didn't have anything from them.
Okay.
Desserts. So we had everything from there. So we'll read them out, and we're not going to have all 5 because, it's Easter. I got to have some chocolate later, and we got to not plough through all these. So we got a lemony dream, a chocolate nutter, a bicky scoff, a coco bueno, and a cara maple crumble. They all sound pretty decent, apart from the lemony dream. And because I don't really like lemon things.
That's an apple. Caramapple crumble. Caramaple.
That's what I said.
No, you said caramaple. Make it sound like caramel and maple crumble.
Did I say caramaple?
Apple.
I thought I said apple. Anyway, caramapple crumble.
I'm right. I think we should go for the bueno and the apple crumble.
Bueno and apricot. You're taking away from the Bicky Scoff. Jesus.
I think that needs to be saved. I don't mind. I don't mind actually.
Let's do it because we got another week of these, haven't we? So essentially, we got 2 weeks worth. So we're gonna go Coco Bueno and caramapple crumble, I believe, is what you just said. So I got to find these.
The problem with naming it things like Coco Bueno is that if this doesn't taste like a Bueno, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah, no, you're like.
If you just said chocolate hazelnut, I'd have gone, okay, let's try it. Now I'm expecting it to be like a Bueno.
I do like, in terms of bakehouse, what Dan tries into it. You got little. They've definitely bought Microsoft Office, so they have a nice published little piece of paper, 2 A5s, all nicely folded with the all the nutritional information on. Lovely job. So consume within 1 week for ultimate freshness. Not gonna happen. You can microwave them, or for a softer bar, eat at room temp. So we got these two, right? What we got?
Right, they look crunchy, don't they? They look like they're going to be like
crunchy.
They're not.
They're not. Oh, so the Coco Bueno, 220 calories, 18 grams carbs, 20 grams protein, 7 grams fat. Oh, about 20 grams protein, and the caramel is 206 calories. Pretty low. They're low on calories, aren't they? They're not like up there with the protein pantry stuff. 17 grams of carbs, 21-ish. We'll give it 21 grams of protein and 5 to 6 grams of fat. What were we saying? What did you just have? Coco Bueno.
Coco Bueno, yeah. Not happy. Not impressed.
What's you not impressed?
No.
Oh,
they're. It's like the chewy ones from Protein Pantry, right? It's that texture.
Okay.
But it's not. The flavors are not that strong. It just tastes a bit chocolatey and a bit hazelnutty. But it's what disappointed me is I thought it was going to be a different texture because it looks like a flapjack kind of texture, and then you bite into it and it's just a soft, chewy protein bar, like the Protein Pantry ones, the thick ones. The Protein Pantry ones I love are the cake ones. They're the cakey ones. They're the ones I like. This is a bit of like the softer one.
It's just really soft, isn't it?
Yeah, and it doesn't really taste too much. Again, they've killed themselves because they've said Bueno on it, and it's just not a Kinder Bueno. It's chocolate hazelnut.
You think Bueno, and we've gone through this again and again. What's the biggest thing about like that Bueno is the wafer crunch, right? And then you get the little goo inside,
and the cream, and there's no crunch or cream.
Yeah. So that's it. It tastes the same, but there's no texture. Interesting. I feel because they built it up, I think, and it needed a crispy in there, didn't it? They needed some of those soy crispies I had from that other bar the other day. So that was not fantastic. Have you opened the other one?
Not yet. I mean, right. I'm going into it disappointed straight away. I'm going
to go for this. It smells good.
Actually, the problem is it looks crunchy. I was really excited looking at them when the pack came. I was like, these are going to be different. They're different, you know? I thought, this is going to be something. And this is just...
You have to go right to the middle of this bar.
Okay.
I think.
It's a pretty big freaking bite, isn't it?
Thank you.
Quite big.
I quite like the gooey, like the actual. There's like what would be apple puree or something underneath the white chocolate stuff. Is that what's there? I quite like that, but again, I'm expecting crunch or something in there. It just needs a crunch, doesn't it? Like it needs some pops and some Rice Krispies or something like that. Because it's really like it does say that you can have it like obviously put it 5-10 seconds in a microwave for it to be gooey.
That one is better. That one is better.
They are gooey. Like anyway, they are really gooey.
I think it's do you know what it is? Chocolate protein stuff is generally quite difficult because it's never that great. So that's better than the chocolate one. But like you say, it still needs some crunch in there.
It does need a crunch, doesn't it?
Like the fact that you can get soya crispies.
Yeah.
Just put them in. They're high protein. Put them in.
That'd be a no-brainer for me. Like the soya crispies that I had in that vegan bar, and I was like, it's actually an all right bar, and it was only 190 calories. Yeah, they're basically, if anybody wants to buy them, they're incredibly soft flapjacks. I think that's an accurate description, but not even flapjacky, but they're incredibly soft flapjacks.
Very, very soft and gooey.
They almost need to be cooked more.
They're not as chewy as, like the protein pantry ones that are chewy. They're not as chewy as that. They break down a bit quicker, but personally, wouldn't buy them again.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out
fantastic. There. Yeah. I feel
sorry,
like
Protein
definitely.
Bakehouse.
Yeah.
I paid for them. I'm not saying sorry. I paid for them. Actually, I'm not saying sorry. I paid for them.
We didn't get these for free. So yeah, all right, but still better.
Again, just remember, disclaimer, better than carb killers and stuff. We're not saying they're really bad. They're just not birthday cake protein pantry bars, right?
Yeah,
that's the standard.
Birthday cake protein pantry is like, it's literally a birthday cake.
Ridiculous. It's so just like a birthday cake. But it is that apple crumble one is better than the chewy, the double chocolate white chocolate chunk we had from Protein Pantry, for example. I'd probably put that ahead of it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't buy those over the Protein Pantry cake varieties, like the cherry bakewell, the birthday cake. They were just incredible.
I don't know whether it's a reminiscent thing, a nostalgic thing. I still love the caramelized crunch from that place.
No, and the crunch as well. The crunches, the hazelnut cream, caramelized crunch. Yeah, you're right. Those as well.
Texture's big, bro.
Don't put Bueno on your bar because it's just setting yourself up for disappointment.
You're setting yourself up. You want a Kinder Bueno.
Failure.
And
you've got a Biscoffy one as well. So, I mean, good luck with that next week.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's still to be fun. I've got, wouldn't purchase again, but they're good. So I think we'll give them a 7.
Yeah, 7.
7's out of 10. That's fine, but lovely. Anyway, I've got Biscoff sauce, a massive bottle of Biscoff sauce. You get the spread. This is the sauce. Imagine.
Is it what is it? Is it more viscous? Is it more viscous?
Yeah. Imagine
less viscous.
Like the stuff that you put, the big ice creams that you get, and the stuff that's inside that. I think it's that. So good. I literally when I got given it basically because somebody made
it's less viscous. It's less viscous than
less viscosity. Yeah,
less viscosity.
So somebody made a Biscoff cheesecake and had it left over, and they're like, "Well, I'm not gonna eat this. I'll give it to Tom because apparently I'm known for liking Biscoff." And they're like, "There you go." And I was like, "Fuck me!" The thing's over a tenner. It's this big thing.
I'm just thinking now I might actually buy some because I'm just in my head thinking that must be great on yogurt.
Oh yeah, but I haven't tried it on yogurt. I did.
Can you imagine that? Imagine getting a yogurt and apple like I have, and then just being like that.
Boom.
Oh, that would be so good.
Basically, all I had was in terms of treats, and I was craving something kind of sweet. All I had was this is bad. Chloe likes having digestive biscuits, and I was like, these are boring. I was like, I could just put the Biscoff sauce on the digestive. Lovely. Made myself a little Biscoff digestive. It was
because digestives are shit. No one would ever get digestive. Want to make a Biscoff. Yeah.
She likes them for breakfast. It's weird.
Oh my god, that's annoying. I can only order a minimum of 2 bottles of this stuff.
Wow.
I can't order just one. How annoying.
That is annoying.
You want one? Oh well, I've got to get 2 now. Never mind.
Mate, summer's come in. You're going to be ice cream parties outside with Isabel.
What about a box of 48 cream eggs?
I bought those.
Of course you did. You would. That's you all over that, isn't it? Biscoff, those sauces.
I got a box of 48 cream eggs to take back to work for next week. Everybody to have cream eggs. First come, first go. I'm such a nice person. All right, mate. We're going to move on to fitness-ish advice.
Biscoff is fitness. Shut up.
Fucking hell. We're going to vaguely talk about... We've got 2 main subjects to talk about. We're going to be slightly brief, but I guess Dan can give me his 50 pence. 2 cents. Isn't that the phrase? 50 pence,
Tuppence.
2 cents, tuppence. He can give me a quid's worth if he really wants to, if he wants to go the whole hog. On long COVID. So I was in a little webinar, I believe, this morning. I can't remember the name of the people for the life of me. The doctor of physiology was called Carl. He was called Carl. And then I was clearly paying attention. But they were talking about, so one thing, cracking business, because they've jumped on this as quick as possible. And I was like, Jesus, how they thought about that quickly. And even though, but I think from a moral standpoint, I wouldn't be able to do it. So they've jumped on instructing a certification, as it were, and guidance for trainers, health professionals like ourselves, to cope and be instructed about clients that possibly may have had COVID and are wanting to come back to the gym and train, and maybe kind of suffering from long COVID, which I think everybody's kind of seen in the news, right? So long COVID. So generally the skepticism, no, that I went in with it was like, all right, I feel like this is a quick buck that they're trying to make. As soon as someone like kind of mentions certifications and stuff like that, and I'm like, do you have an awarding body behind you? Do you basically, for somebody to have a certification, I feel like they need to have the government one as well. So they've got that guidance through. So I'm like, is it just a bullshit certification that you're making up? So I'm suddenly a qualified person, but okay. I was like, all right, we'll give them the benefit of that. Also, this is so new that I doubt there's research on it. So it can't be guided by research or peer-reviewed research. Because all the data is so new, it will be changing and evolving all the way. So, but from an interest point of view, I thought it was a good thing to sit in on, and I will endeavor to sit through I've got 3 months worth of kind of looking at their stuff. And we'll have a look and see what advice for people who will be suffering from long COVID. So what it seems like, I think some of the football players, particularly in Newcastle, so remember St. Maximin and some of these guys, they're not like back to full fitness. They're kind of their levels of fitness they were before they contracted COVID. So that is what they would deem like a long COVID. So they've had a sustainable fatigue, I believe they use that word, from having COVID. They have no symptoms, they have no nothing, but they're kind of neurologically and physiologically impaired from having COVID. And obviously such a disease that we've got is just like, all right, well, we don't really know how long it will go on. We don't know how hard to press them in terms of, will they get it back straight away? Will they able to, it's like a push hard, like get there, or do we go too hard too soon is the danger. So they were discussing a few people that kind of went too hard too soon and relapsed and back into hospital. And kind of because they couldn't keep up with the neurological adaptations they were trying to enforce themselves through training. So, which is an interesting thing. I was like, I didn't think that would happen, but you just felt like you'd been hit by a truck or something like that. So it's interesting. I'd love to hear Daniel's thoughts. And I don't have any, I don't know, I lie. I do have one client who did have COVID pretty bad and was bedridden for 2 weeks. But I did train him post, and I did taper it back quite a lot. And injuries that he had maybe previous to training with me about 4 years prior kind of resurfaced. Stuff that we'd done strength work to get rid of and blah, 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 all this kind of resurfaced. And suddenly the knee was an issue. And suddenly the knee flexion stuff was an issue again. And he seemed to have a little bit more bursa trouble than I thought he would coming back. And I was like, I thought we sorted this kind of stuff. I was like, I'm pretty confident in my ability to be able to train this person. So I feel like I've seen it. And then, but just like, I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but just by common sense, I feel like I tapered back and I just went back to kind of rehabby movements and going, all right, this person needs this, because I've already gone through that phase before. So what was interesting for me was they were talking about tests and reassessment, and probably what is a good thing for everybody after a certain amount of what is deconditioning is reassessment. I think Daniel would agree that when the football players come back after holidays, what do? Test week. Like, we're like, all right, we're going to discuss your levels so we can kind of see where they're at. My advice, probably in the first 2 weeks of getting your clients who are probably going to be slightly deconditioned, would be maybe you put them through some sort of relative to you and your data testing protocols, whatever they may be. So I use like goblet squats at something of their body weight for however many reps they can do. Stuff that's safe. I'll be like, all right, Dan weighs 75 kilos. He's going to goblet squat 25 kilos as many times as possible. Off you go. Which 3 or 4 maybe for Daniel. So, but yeah.
If you like.
So it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts. Because I think there's like, I'm looking like, will their CV system be fucked? Will their anaerobic system be fucked? Will that system be fucked? Will neurological be a strength system really? I'm like, ooh, there's a lot of kind of things in the air, but do I just look at it for they've had an extended period off and being deconditioned and I treat them like that? You don't.
I think it's just I'd imagine it's just a stressor to the body. It's obviously still dealing with it, and that's the way you should approach it with excuse me, dieting, training, whatever. It would be an added stressor, and arguably one that's probably, if someone's got capacity to deal with 100% stress on any given day, they're at 30%. If this issue causes them to constantly be at, say, 60-70%, they just don't have much wiggle room for you to be able to then add training, nutrition, dieting, stress, whatever it is to that as well. And obviously that, more like you said about the previous injuries, maybe they become more sensitive to pain or previous issues, and that could be related to stress, could be related to cortisol, could be related to all those sorts of things, but it just makes sense, right? Like you said, it's common sense. Whether you call it long COVID or massively deconditioned, that's where you listen to your client. You listen to what they're going through, how they're feeling. And if you've got a client who's previously had rehab for an injury and they come back to train with you and they go, oh, it's starting to hurt again, you don't go, oh, we'll plow on anyway. You go, no, we'll go back to what we're doing. So yeah, it seems that it's just logic for any good trainers out there, but I suppose there's not many good trainers out there, so probably why they need a certification in it.
Yeah. So it seemed to be like there was a neurological like deficit that was happening and like a physiological one in terms of maybe CV systems, because it's a respiratory disease, right? So one would assume their respiratory system would be fucked and slightly down. So they kept on going on about a Rockport test, which I have never done. Daniel, have you done the Rockport 1 mile walking test? The Rockport 1 mile walking test. It is as far as you can fucking go in a mile. Walking only. Heart rate monitor on, see what kind of zones you hit, but walking only. Not too sure what you're going to be doing, to be honest. So yeah, however quick you do it. So I just went on Google, always a trusted element of it. At what pace should the 1 mile walk test be performed? So excellent for a 20 to 29-year-old. I believe that is 13 minutes, 12 seconds or under. I have no idea. I might do this. Fuck it.
Maybe we should do it, yeah.
Yeah. see what my respiratory system is. I'm not going to do that with one of my clients in a session. Probably not. No,
yeah, imagine that. What are we going to do? Say, let's go walk a mile.
Like, I'm not saying that testing is a waste of time, but some testing might be a waste of time in your time.
Yeah.
Like obviously the goblet assessments or stuff like the relative strength assessments and body weight strength assessments, all lovely, or like 30-second max efforts and that kind of stuff is perfectly valid to do as far as I'm concerned. Or you try and stay at, I would probably do like a dumbed down FTP test or a ramp test or something like that. Might be more beneficial in for a client and in a session, but I probably wouldn't make them walk for between 15 minutes. So yeah, interesting. But I thought it's an interesting topic, and I think it will be something that I'm sure some certifications and some things that crop up, and it will be a question. I'm sure the amount of people who've had COVID and they're coming back to train, it'll be something that will be in their mind, especially the people who've had this long COVID thing. So I will endeavor to tell people what I think, and as I go through a few more of their lectures and see what they're talking about, I can only assume that there'll be stuff by lab testing that I'd love to see. Probably their lactate levels would be an interesting thing to see based off some of the exercises. So if we could do bloods, it would be a great thing, but that's obviously specialist stuff. I would just look, I'd like to see their respiratory. What's the one of those things? We do that.
Douglas bag.
Or like that, Douglas bag things. Yeah. I'd like to see that over time, especially with breathing mechanics. That'd be interesting to see. And then, yeah, stuff like Rockports or like aerobic fitness will be interesting to see for respiratory disease, as it were. So, yeah. Interesting, Daniel. Interesting. It's a new thing that we haven't really had to cover before, and it's something that I've never actually had to think about. I've been like, maybe this person. But yeah, I think most good trainers would be like, I'm just going to dial it back and steady as she goes. Like, don't push them too hard because it's brand new stuff. It's like, all right, we're going to be safety. Doesn't just say that to the client. You're like, you've had a fucking disease that didn't exist 2 years ago. Like, Jesus Christ, shut up. We're just going to try and do this like properly and not fuck you up because you could be re-hospitalized or something like that. And probably we don't know what will happen. Anyway, all right. Our next topic within coaching is, coaching, overcoaching. Dan got annoyed. What was the clip?
Fucking movie. Like, I follow Dr. John Rusin.
I know. It really annoys me.
He probably listens.
I actually kind of talked about him in a class yesterday and was like, oh, this guy would be a good thing for relative strength assessments. He does some cool stuff, but also there's some whack.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Like, some of his stuff is cool and it's fine and it's all good. I've got no problems with the stuff necessarily.
Yeah,
it's just the way that like the videos are. It's like he's got like his mates with him or his missus or whoever it is training him, and they're doing like an exercise demo of an exercise, right? And I hope to God he's not videoing his actual program, because if he is, he does something different all the fucking time.
Yeah, I know.
I assume not. I assume it's just a clip of certain things, but
yeah,
they're always like, yeah, good. Chest up, drive your knees out. And it always, like, every rep, they say something. And it just annoys me because I'm like, at no point when I was coaching someone did I ever say something every single rep. And then the other one they do, when they don't have anything good to say about form, they just go 1, 2, 3. I'm like, okay, just tell them, you count in your head, and when they're done, tell them they're done. If that's But it's just like, yeah, like, hang on, let me see if I can get one up. Hang on. Let's go. Come on. Good. Just always saying something, like every rep, like every time someone does something.
Yeah.
I don't have to count the reps because that is a rep. You can tell when they are. Ridiculous. It annoys me. Like, and you post it on Instagram. It's just like, just turn the sound off.
Get rid of the audio. Yeah, because that was basically, if anybody was lost from the intro, that's what I was saying to Dan. I was waiting for him just to start listing his shopping and be like, what do you end up saying bullshit? Because everybody does it in Group X classes. They're funny because you end up saying some weird stuff and you're like, what am I even saying? Like, once you've said brace your core and brace your abs and squeeze your glutes, there's not much else to say in a Group X class, it seems. And then they're like, yeah, keep going, guys, work it. Oh yeah, come on, all right, let's go. And you're like, all right, well, we are going. I get it, but it's motivational within a degree. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, mate? Like, what would you? I'm gonna pause here because Daniel's decided to turn his mic off. But yeah. 3, 2, 1, we're back in the room because Daniel decided to turn his mic back on. Dan's got some silly headphones, basically, that whenever he moves the microphone, he looks like he's on a, basically, you're like, we're going to sell some stuff to you today. Oh, is that okay? He basically,
I want to sell stuff today, but a sales call.
Have you ever seen
I'm doing sales?
A phone jacker or something like that. So definitely buy some shares with Dan, whatever he tells you. I'm sure he's calling some people up. Get a different mic. Fucking hell. but your quality is good. Sorry. But yeah,
I was just looking at it and it just annoyed me. I was just coming across the videos and the sound was on. I was just like, shut up! Like she's doing like a belted squat. Like you don't need form tips on a belted squat. It's pretty straightforward. Drive through the heels, push the knees out, chest up. It's like she knows she's doing it fine. You don't need to tell her. It's not like she was crouched over pushing through her toes. Like she was doing all the stuff you were telling her.
She was doing. There's something that we teach. We're like, all right, well, if don't say anything. I always say, if I'm not saying anything, it's a good thing. Like that means you're doing it correctly. Carry on as you were. Like no news is good news, kind of thing. And then there's also a coaching technique, Dan. I'm sure you've done this. Is too much information is probably not a good thing for a client, and we probably need to have like nuggets of information, especially during a set, because
or a focus of each set.
We talk about a focus of each set. We're like, all right, for this set, I want you to really think about this because that's the biggest issue, and the rest of the shit we can sort out later, and it's not going to kill you. We just figure out the stuff that was going to kill you. And then we do it. And I think we're quite similar in the fact, if they're not going to die during that set, I'll let them mostly carry on unless it looks like absolute shit. I'll probably carry on and be like, what did you think about that set? Like, did it feel like what was happening? Or I might take the piss out of them and be like, what the fuck was that? Did I do that? No. All right. Okay. Well, let's watch me again. Which is fine. Get to know the client first. Don't do that in your first session. But yeah, it's a case of like drip feeding information as well. Obviously, that was a video on Instagram, but I still think like he probably does coach like that. Maybe.
Yeah, probably. Because I think that's the kind of thing that you just do naturally, instinctively. Like,
yeah, I think so as well.
To try and be like it's every exercise and every set. It's not like a one-off. It wasn't like just that exercise. It's just all that all the time. And again, I hate the counting reps. If you're a PT, right, and you count your reps out loud, or whatever, that's fine if you've done that up to this point, if you didn't know any better. But from now on, please stop. Because that's all some people think PTs do.
Yeah.
Because you just count reps. So they think, I don't need someone to stand there and count reps for me. That's what you're doing. You're reinforcing that stereotype by counting reps out loud. You can tell the client, right, 3 left, 2, 1. I'm okay with that. You don't need to count them all out, but you should know in your head what number they're on and where they're at, and telling them when to stop, how many they've got left, etc., etc.
And
they can count to 10 themselves if they really wanted to.
And counting down or something like if they're doing it for time, 10, 9,
yeah, fuck off.
8.
Just say 3, 2, 1 when
they're not launching off. Like we don't need. There's not that much preparation. Yeah, I literally say, I was like, you will count if it's hard enough. I refuse to count for you. I've got other stuff to do.
I used to just say to people, I'll tell you when you're done. And it used to be when they'd finish that rep, I'd go, done. I didn't even need to do 2, 1. I'd be like, done. And they'd be like, oh, thank God for that. Do you know? There is that element to it where the second you tell someone they've got 2 left or 3 left, they just stop thinking and they just do whatever. And they don't actually engage their brain because they just want to get to the end of it. So it's not done for like no reason. It's done for a reason, that if you start counting down, anyone listening to this knows that when you start counting down or you get closer to the end, you just kind of go, oh, near the end now. Yeah, everyone does it. So it's best to not know when you're near the end. Granted, your client sometimes counts because they want to get to the end, and that's fine.
Correct, that's fine. If they count, like that's one less job for you.
Yeah. But please don't reinforce a stereotype that PTs just stand there and count reps.
And it's a case of like, all right, if you don't, it's not to say if you haven't got anything constructive to say, don't say it at all. But that was borderline ridiculous. Saying something different every single repetition would confuse me when I'm training something like with someone as well. I'd be like, what?
And the other argument there is that they, with the people that they're doing it with on those videos, they are of a high enough training age to know all that. They don't need to be told that. Like, you don't need. She was doing, like I said, she was doing all the stuff. I could understand it a little bit more. Still think it's not the right thing to do if she had really poor form. But like you said, then you'd go to at the end of the set during a rest and go, it's on the next set. What I want you to do is try keeping your chest up and push your knees out. That's what I want you to think about. Just keep chest up, knees out. One upper body, one lower body cue. That's it, right? Yeah. And then we'll go into the next set. But like the fact is that she was keeping her chest up. Her knees were pushed out and she was driving through her heels. It's like, what are you saying these things for? Just shut up. Like, it just annoyed me. It really annoyed me.
So yeah, over coaching is a syndrome kind of thing, and you'll know the coaches that do it and they just don't shut up, or they'll be speaking to their client 24/7, and it does lend itself well to group X, because they don't like silence is a thing, but from a few coaches as well. They don't like that. Oh, this is awkward. And you're like, awkwardness is fantastic. Some of the most hilarious things happen out of awkwardness.
Yeah. But the one thing I would say as well is that the more you talk, the less likely they are to hear you when you do say something useful.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, they're not selective. They'll just drown you out if you just say shit like that all the time. And during a set, especially, they're not going to listen. They just heard all the same things. Whereas if you're very selective of what you say, your client will listen, because they'll be like, oh, he doesn't say much usually. So when he does, I better fucking make sure I do it.
Yeah. I think my clients would concur with that. I'm quite quiet during sets and stuff, and because I like walking around my client and just looking what they're doing and being like, all right, I'm going to change, and just have a little tick sheet.
Admiring your work, Tom.
I'm just like, oh yes, that looks great. I just have a little a tick list. Obviously, I know their issues, and I'll be like, all right, what did we? They'd be like, before the set, what did we talk about? Maybe this before. Maybe, do you remember to do this? Did you remember to do that? Blah blah blah. Remember this, and off you go. Those are your cues before. Hopefully, she probably was told before the exercise by John to be like, remember, knees out, chest up, drive through that bit, drive through your heel, crack on, and be like, oh, this is all brand new information during the set. Why are you giving me it now? Yeah. You're like, oh, wait a minute. But there's also like stuff that will, just from a perspective, as a coaching perspective, they're all shit cues. They were all internal, which is fine because she was kind of an athlete more than likely, she could move, but there was no external cue in there, was there? There wasn't like chest up to like drive that chest towards the ceiling. To the wall. Yeah, throw that, drive that backwards. See that bar in front of you on that, and those knees to be outside of that bit. Like, that's gold. Like, that should work for anybody. It's like 80% more retention of a learned skill and learned movement. Whereas internal cue, an internal cue is something that you just go towards yourself, right? So I'd be like, all right, Dan, I want you to slightly move your elbow towards your sternum. You'll be like, you know what that means, and it means a lot to you. But that's a shit cue. Fucking nothing. It'd be like, all right, Dan, I want you to blast your elbow right towards your Nike tick, please. Awesome. That'd be great. So it's elaborating and that kind of stuff. So we like those. We like external stuff. Use your surroundings and environment as well. I think that's gold for me in terms of coaching cueing. So don't overcoach, but don't undercoach as well. Don't be like, oh, that looks like shit, I'm not going to say anything. Have to
just sit there and go, good luck with that.
Do this. See you later. Yeah, that's what I do. Lovely, mate. All right. Any other business? Are we gonna anything else? You got anything? No, lovely.
Not Wonderful. From me.
Not from you. All right. Hopefully, I guess we just have to cover going back to the gym. Go listen to one of the other shows we did previously.
Yeah.
Don't be a twat. Don't go hard or go home. Don't be a hero in the first 2 weeks. You're not going to set any PRs. And yeah, go do some basic fucking shit. Cool.
Easy.
I think that rounds it out. Easy. Right. No other business from me. I believe my 8-week group are done. So good luck if you're listening to this show. I expect all of you, all 30 of you, will be looking to see if you've listened to this show. I won't. Hopefully they'll pass. We want 100% success rate from level 2 onto level 3, of course. So they can all pay us more money to do the PT core course. That's what we want, isn't it, Daniel? No, they get that anyway because they're the first cohort through. Lucky buggers. Yeah, lovely. So that'll be interesting. And yeah, apart from that, my protein group doing well. Lovely.
It's good to hear.
Good to hear, isn't it? Thanks for listening, guys. And we will catch you next week.
See you later.